We have just completed the girls' tournament championship here in Artesia, and we are on a delay here waiting for the Hobbs boys game coming up next. Ty Friend and Ron Gunner with you. Hobbs will play Alamogordo for the third place trophy here. And Carlsbad just winning by 10 points over El Paso Riverside on the girls' bracket. That is the championship matchup. Again, we'll get the pregame show started here in just a few minutes as we'll have the full game for you live. Again, there's a little bit of a delay with the stack up of games earlier today. Should mention, too, championship for the boys was played earlier at 10 o'clock this morning, and that was a win by Los Lunas by 6 over Fort Sumner. Of course, Fort Sumner was a last-second add-on to the tournament pairings due to a team having to pull out. So they just said, yeah, we'll play in it, and they won 2 games before losing in the championship to Los Lunas. So the Tigers are the champs of the tournament. And we'll get our game going here in just a minute. The Hobbs Eagles and Tigers are both out on the court, getting ready to come out for warm-ups as we continue with the last second handing of the trophy to the Carlsbad Cave Girls, the winners here in Artesia. So stay with us live, HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube on the Hobbs Sports Channel. We'll get you live coverage of the Hobbs Eagle game in just moments. Welcome, everyone. It is here at the pit in Artesia, not Albuquerque UNM, but this is the third-place game of the tournament of champions, the Hobbs Eagles taking on Alamogordo. We had a little bit of a delay. Sorry for that. They ran behind here, so we're about 20-some minutes back where we were supposed to start from. But this is going to be a big matchup for the Hobbs Eagles, again, trying to get the third-place trophy. Yesterday, of course, lost a heartbreaker to Los Lunas, 46-43. Eagles losing just by 3 on that one. Michael Mackey finished with 20 points. He was 4 or 5 from the line, hit a couple of trays in the first quarter. Abraham Pena finished up 11 points, 3 for 4. So Mackey and Pena combined for 31 of the Hobbs Eagles 43 in that game, a major majority of the point production. Eagles were down 7-zip early, Ron, but they came back with Mackey's play in the first quarter. He scored 9, and the score was 9-9 at the end of the first, so he's putting the team on his shoulders at one point.
He did. He was carrying him. He was running down the court, too. It was amazing. The energy he had. We're hoping to see the same thing in this game, too.
Nip and tuck game throughout. The Eagles were down 12-9 at one point early, and then Hobbs getting 19 points in the second quarter, just down by 1 at the half, 20-19. So very close ball game. And again, just a 3-point differential as the game went to the final. Jalen Holland, who's already got a couple of Division I looks, Ohio State and Texas Tech, he had 25 in the game. He's just a sophomore, so he's definitely going to be one of the best in the state. Nobody else in double digits. I think that gives you a lot of credit for the Hobbs Eagle defense.
It did, and you know what? They were the more they played, the more they disrupted the offense of the Los Lunas Tigers. And, you know, I expect to see that again today with this set of Tigers as well. So we don't have to worry about changing the name. We're going from the Tigers to the Tigers.
Eagles were 9-14 from the charity stripe for 64%, which was better than Los Lunas of 54% in that game. But I think the major difference was the turnovers. Hobbs had 19, Los Lunas with just 5. And, of course, with 7 seniors on the Los Lunas squad, they're kind of got more of a chemistry there. They're used to working together. A lot of new guys here for the Hobbs Eagles as, of course, they're trying to bring a lot of different matchups going on in the starting lineup. We're going to see some different starters here in this game, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But in terms of that game yesterday, Hobbs did out-rebound Los Lunas 29-21, which is a big number, of course, when you got a Division I prospect. But the Eagles weren't messing around. They had a lot of guys stepping up. Mackey had 7 boards to lead Hobbs. Omar R got 6, and Caden Hall with 5. So those 3 guys really ripping down the glass for us.
Yeah, they did. They were playing better and better, like as we said. Throughout the game, there was really nip and tuck at the end. They could have actually won it with a couple of different plays, but unfortunately, you know how things go. Sometimes the ball bounces your way, sometimes it doesn't.
So Hobbs with the loss drops to 3-2 on the season, and Alamogordo got a couple of 1 win and 1 loss before getting to this mark of the third place game. And looking at what they've done so far, actually they're 2-2 on the season. They beat Deming to start the season 54-46. Deontay Bynum finishing with 15 points, 5 of 6 from the line. The Eagles got to be careful with him. He definitely can stroke it when he has no defense on him at the line. Jason Warren had 13 points, 9 rebounds, just shy of a double-double against Deming. And then Davian Smith with 10 points and 6 rebounds. So that team did some damage against the Deming Wildcats. Kai Bickham was also had a couple of 3-pointers in that game to start off the season. Now they came to the tournament, beat Deming, had to play them a second time. This one at the tournament, 50-41 to win in that one. They were actually down 14-8 in the first quarter. Then had a strong fourth quarter, 18-10 up over the top of Deming, and ended up with that 9-point win. They outscored Deming 24-23 in the second half. Bynum was the top scorer once again, 15 in that game, and Warren finished with 12. So kind of the same numbers that we saw in that first game against Deming. Now, the game that they lost, which was the big upset of this tournament, was Fort Sumner and House beat Alamogordo in the semifinals 65-57. Again, Fort Sumner just a 1A school. They were a last-second add to the tournament bracket, so a team had to pull out, so they stepped up and said, hey, we'll play in it, and almost got themselves a championship, just losing by 6 to Los Lunas. Again, they beat Alamogordo by 8 in the semi, 65-57. Beckham again. Beckham stepped up with 12 points in that one. The top scorer was Davian Smith with 13. They combined for 25 points in that ball game. So that's how Alamogordo got here. Again, with the win over Deming, losing to Fort Sumner yesterday, and now in the third place game. Last year, these 2 teams did meet. Hobbs doubling up on Alamogordo, 82-41. That was played right here at the Artesia Tournament. Hobbs well up over the Tigers in that game at halftime, 39-14, and outscored the Tigers 20-4 in the second quarter to get that big double-digit victory. Alamogordo really didn't have much to answer with the Eagles. Of Jalen Gore was 17, Michael Mackey 13 in that game. He had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal in that game. And Aaron Moore had 14 points and 8 rebounds, almost a double-double. Kai Bickham was just a freshman last year for Alamogordo. He did score in double digits with 11. And he had 3 3-pointers in that game, so the Eagles have to watch out for him in this game this season. Also 3 rebounds for Bickham. Sophomore Jason Warren with 8 points and 6 rebounds. And sophomore Deontay Bynum, 6 points, including 2 trays. That was all his scoring were trays. So, again, those guys are back this year. Bickham now a sophomore. Warren and Bynum moved up to the junior level, and they've had some experience against the Eagles. Hobbs out-rebounded Alamogordo last year at this tournament, 30-23. Big difference in the game was turnovers. Alamogordo with 30, and your Hobbs Eagles only had 10. So if Hobbs can duplicate those numbers this year, they're definitely going to move on with a win here in the third place game. So kind of a matchup there from last year, of course, a different season this year. Hobbs had 7 seniors last year. The Alamogordo squad with 4 sophomores and 3 juniors. So Eagles are trying to move themselves up, getting their 4th win of the season if they can get this victory here. But the Tigers and the Eagles are going to go head-to-head here in just a minute. Yeah,
third place isn't bad for the Eagles. They'd probably would want to play first, but, that's already been done. Las Lunas has got the victory. On this rivalry between the Tigers and between Alamogordo Tigers and the Hobbs Eagles, this goes all the way back to 1950 when they first played. The record right now is 68-19. Hobbs has of course, the favorable lead on that one. But the first game they played was back in 1950, where the Tigers and the Eagles scored very little. In fact, it was the Eagles over the Tigers just by 7 points, 34-27. Not looking for a score like that in this game, although here lately the scores have been rather low.
Yeah, a lot of teams are putting up low scores at this tournament. That means great defense, I guess. That's how some people would look at it. But, of course, you go back to that 1951 game, 34-27. You got to remember, no three-point shot back in those days.
Exactly.
Get ready for the tip-off. Your Hobbs Eagles against the Alamogordo Tigers. Mackey, Marquez, Pena, Hall, and Argot starting for Hobbs. For Alamogordo, it's Bynum, Smith, Warren, Bickham, and George. Hobbs wearing their black uniforms, white numbers and gold trim. And Alamogordo, it's kind of the similar look, but the white uniforms, black numbers and gold trim. Jumping for the Eagles is Argot, and he tries to tip in the backcourt. They blow off the jump ball, as one of the officials said it needs to be straighter, so they're going to go back with it again. Tigers have on the jump circle now Davian Smith. Tip for Argot in the front court. It's picked up by Marquez. He'll get the first offensive possession for the Eagles. We're underway here for the third place trophy at the Artesia Tournament of Champions. Ty friend Ron Gunner with you. Pass over to the right wing to Pena, goes back door to Mackey, comes down with it, up underneath the hoop, and gets rejected as he tries to double clutch it. They got the foul already on Davian Smith. That's his first team foul against the Tigers. Will send Mackey to the line. Michael Mackey been averaging 14.5 points here at the tournament in 2 games. He had 9 in the first contest against Rio Rancho, 20 yesterday in the loss to Los Lunas. And he's shooting 67% for the season at the free throw line and makes his first. So the Eagles on the board, 1-0.
Yeah, and that's you definitely want to have Mackey on the line right now. He has been hot on the charity stripe.
Yeah, definitely coming back and getting the Eagles back in some contention in terms of the free throw shooting. Hobbs shooting 64% yesterday. Second shot up and good for Mackey. Gets both of them. Hobbs up 2-0 early. 7:45 left first quarter. Ball comes across the timeline for the Tigers in the hands of Warren. Cross court right over to Bickham. Returns back deep to the timeline to Bynum. Stop and go. Pivot. And a pass up top of the arc to Warren. Tough defensive pressure by Pena. Sails the ball down to the left corner for Bickham. Fumbles it right in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench. I thought Coach Shelby Reeves was going to jump out there and try to rip the ball away.
If he thought he could for a moment, he probably would.
That's the first turnover for the Tigers. As the inbound comes deep in the backcourt to Pena. Taking his time, no defense on him until the half court. Matchup for Alamogordo man-to-man. The dish off to Mackey on the right wing in front of the Tiger bench. Takes a few dribbles, backdoor cut, and there's the man wide open for the pass, the bounce pass, but unfortunately, Caden Hall goes in the air and runs over the top of his defender for the charge. But a nice little play there for the Eagles on the backdoor bouncer. So the first on Hall, that'll be the first foul against the Eagles as well.
That was a nice non-counting shot.
Inbound to the far sideline, having some trouble with the defensive trap is Bickham. Throws it to back deep and then gets it back across the timeline with a long pass out of bounds to the baseline. So Alamogordo having some trouble getting their offensive sets going. Already the second turnover on a pass to a ghost out there underneath the hoop. Still 2-0 Hobbs, 7:02 left first quarter. As Pena will bring the ball up the court. Pena averaging 11 points at the tournament, has had 11 in both games. So definitely helping out the Eagles' cause. Mackey will get the ball on the right wing, up top to Argot, dribbles left, hands the ball off to Pena to the free throw line, pivots, kicks it up top to Hall. Hall waiting for the handoff, gives to Marquez, top of the circle now, uses up the dribble and finds Argot on the left wing. Hand off to Mackey, going left to right, dribbles behind his back, zigzags back to the left side, behind his back again. Hall at the top of the circle gets the pass. Underhands it to Pena right wing, spots up from 18, just inside the three-point arc, and nails a nice follow-through on that J for Abraham Pena for 2. 4-0 Eagles. Taking the ball now is Bickham, throws it across the timeline to the far left to Warren, cross-court right to Bynum. Sends it back to the left side to Bickham with the jab step. Good D by Hall to get on his waist that time, and returns to the timeline to Bynum. Bynum with a jab step, triple threat, bumps into Mackey, no call. He'll back it out at the timeline. Over the left wing to Bickham, fires up a 3 off the back of the rim. Ball loose on the near side, tipped out by the Tigers as it went off the hands of their big man, Brett George, Eagle basketball. Again, the Eagles doubled up on this squad last year, 82-41. Some major domination here at the Artesia Tournament, City of Champions.
Oh, absolutely it was. And Hobbs definitely had their way on that day.
Coming across the timeline is Pena going right wing. Keeps the dribble alive with a screen from Hall. Kicks it up top to Argot. Jab step. Hand off to Mackey on the left side. Up top to Hall. Look for a 3, decided not to shoot it. Backs out in front of the Alamogordo bench right wing. Sends it back to Argot, top of the circle. To the left side. Hand off to Marquez. Shot from the free throw line. An errant throw over the right side of the iron, but pulled down by Mackey. He goes back up on the left block. It's hit in the head. Ball sails off left, but he gets a chance for 2 free throws. So Mackey picks up his first rebound of the game and a chance to add on to his 2 free throws so far. Hobbs 2 for 2 on the line, both coming at the hands of Mackey. And Mackey doing a good job of moving without the basketball. Again, we mentioned he did have some rebounding yesterday for the Eagles. Led the squad with a total of 7 on the glass. First shot for Mackey is up and in and out, no good. Rims out. He'll get 1 more. Score remains 4-0 here. 5:26 left first quarter. Mackey will get 1 more. Listening live to HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube with live video as well. Second shot's up and good for Mackey. He's got 3 of 4 on the line now, 3 points. Hobbs up 5-0, their biggest lead of the contest. There'll be some trap pressure, double team in the backcourt. A one-hand shot to half court is picked up by Smith. Lost the basketball, stolen by Mackey. That's going to be the 3rd Tiger turnover. Mackey comes down the left lane with a scoop shot off the left rim and scores. Mackey on fire like yesterday. He's got 5 points here in the first quarter of the 7. The Eagles have 7-0. Biggest lead now is 7 for Hobbs. Ball into the near sideline to Bickham. Cross court left to Bynum, still in the backcourt, and returns to Bickham. He'll come across the timeline. One hand, backdoor pass to Warren. Comes down with it, reverse on the left side, and puts it down for 2. Warren now with 2 points, 7-2, first score for the Tigers. Eagles quickly in the front court. Pena on the right wing, up top to Argot. Dribbles left, doesn't get the handoff, then Marcus has to come back for it. He'll back it out to the timeline. Wants to set up the offense, wants to see some rotation on the wings. Stepping out on defense against him is Bynum. Marcus taking his time to get the play set up. Bounce pass to Mackey, has to chase it down on the left wing. He's got to spot up a tray. In and out, no good, and rebound on the left baseline for Bynum. That's his first. Bynum will take the dribble himself in the front court, down the middle to the top of the circle. Stop and go, left elbow. Lost the ball as he tried to spin with it and knocked out by Pena, but they're going to call the reach foul on Abraham Pena. That'll be his first personal, 2nd team foul. Hobbs a 5-point lead here in the first. Live at the Bulldog Pit in Artesia. Substitution coming on the court for the Alamogordo Tigers. Seeing his first action, Christian Caprice, as he checks in for Davian Smith.
I believe that the Eagles are playing a little more confidence than they have in the past, or at least this year anyway.
Inbound in the left corner is Bickham. Thought about a 3 and shuffled the feet, and his indecision causes the travel there. That will be the 4th turnover for the Tigers, compared to just 1 for the Eagles. 4:12 left first quarter. Hobbs up 7-2. Taking his time with the dribble, coming across the timeline is Pena. Goes left with a pass to Mackey. Matchup zone going on now to Pena on the right wing. Jab step. Waiting for the ball, coming back forward. Top of the arc is Lehman. He takes a little bit of a shuffle step. Didn't know if he wanted to shoot a tray or head right with the dribble, and picks up the travel. 2nd turnover for the Eagles. 7-2 still your score. 3:50 left here in the first. 3rd place game from the City of Champions Tournament. And we got a reach foul for the Eagles in the backcourt on the near sideline.
Almost a kick foul on that one.
So going to charge that to Caden Hall. That's already his third team foul on the Eagles. It looks like Coach Reeves will go to the bench on the next dead ball. Ball comes into Beckham on the far left sideline. Floats the ball down the lane at the other end, and Mackey's trying to strip it. It's loose on the baseline. Picked up middle to paint by George. He goes up strong with it, and it rolls around the front of the rim and counted for 2. So George with his first bucket. 4 points on the board for the Tigers. Actually, they're going to, that is George, and Warren the other bucket for Alamogordo. Mackey will drive the baseline. Cross court left, and Marquez make it. Payne is going to spot up a tray, and he puts it through the hole, uncontested. First 3 of the game for the Eagles. Pena now with 5 points to lead the Eagles. 4 for Mackey. 10-4, Eagles by 6. Ball deflected at half court by Mackey. Picked up, though, by Bynum for the Tigers. Comes down the lane, reverse layup right, no good. Tip back up, no good for George. And underneath the hoop is Caden Hall for the rebound for the Eagles, his first board. Outlet to the far side to Pena, bring it across the timeline. To the right wing, stop and go dribble. They're going to call a hold foul. The officials starting to call it really tight now. And that will go against Alamogordo, as that will be charged, I believe, to Surprise. That will be his first personal and the second team foul against the Tigers. We got some subs coming on the court for the Eagles. Checking on is the freshman Braylon Vega. Again, we mentioned Vega coming off the bench in the last 2 tournament games. Has hit 8 and 5 points for an average of 6.5. Definitely going to move your time up in the lineup for the Eagles when you show numbers like that. Inbound to the time stripe to Lehman. Takes a few dribbles to the right wing in front of the Alamogordo bench, and they're going to say he carried it. Well, the top officials really staring hard at the dribbling and footwork of both teams, and that will be the Eagles' 3rd turnover. So carry call on that one. And you have to adjust your game when they call stuff tight like that. You got to kind of take care of business with the basketball. The referees have been pretty quick on those calls, so again, adjustments need to be made. In the backcourt is Bynum, throws it across the timeline to Surprise, top of the arc. Finds Smith going right base. He's going to fade the shot from the block, no good. Put back up underneath by Warren on the tip on the right glass. He's got 4 points and a rebound. 10-6, Eagles still by 4. Back in the front court with 2:30 left first quarter. Lost the basketball for a second. Getting a screen now from the left side by Archibald, who just checked in. Has to throw it back deep to Argot and hand off to Marquez near the timeline. Marquez going to set up the play call here. Sliding left with the dribble on the sideline. Bounce pass off to the left wing to Vega. Drives baseline, a runner shot off the side of the rim, no good left. Put back up on the left block by Archibald on the rebound, and it gets fouled between 2 defenders. So Archibald picks up his first rebound. That's against Damian Smith on the foul, his first. 3rd team foul on the Tigers. So 2 free throws now for Archibald. On the season, he is 2 for 4 for 50%. Free throws off the front of the rim, no good. Eagles now on the free throw stripe in this game, 3 of 5 for 60%. Still have a 4-point lead with 2:08 left first quarter.
That last free throw just didn't have the energy in it.
Second shot for Archibald, bouncing around the rim, no good off the right side. And a rebound pulled down by Smith. So unfortunately, Archibald couldn't get him to drop. Outlet to the near sideline to Bynum for the Tigers. Kicks it over to the left side to Smith in front court. Bad pass taken away by Mackey. That will be the 5th Tiger turnover. To Marquez in the left elbow, fires up a J off the back of the rim. Pulled down for the Tigers by Smith. And then getting a little bit too aggressive is Devon Marquez trying to get the ball back after the missed shot and hammers up on top of the Tiger. So Marquez will pick up his first personal 14th foul against the Eagles. On the court now for Alamogordo on the sub. Elijah Montoya for his first action as he comes in for Warren. Inbound to the far sideline to Montoya. Cross court right to Smith. Smith returns to the left side to Bynum. Down the lane to Surprise, who got away with the travel. Lost the ball, though, taken away by Devon Marquez. Turnover number 6. And into the front court to Vega. Up top to Mackey. Returns to Vega on the left wing. Again to Mackey, just top of the circle. Marquez will come get it behind with the handoff and backs it out to the timeline. Handoff to Mackey right to left. Kicks it up top to Vega. Back to Mackey right wing. An NBA 3 got knocked down. No call. Ball comes off the back of the rim. And the middle of the paint pulling it down for the Tigers off the miss. Zach Sell, who had just checked in. Handoff to Bynum now in the front court. Drives the free throw line. Shot is on the way. And a switch for Deontay Bynum. His first bucket. They've had 3 different scores now for the Tigers as they trail the Eagles 10-8 with 1 minute left first quarter. Kind of a slowdown now for the Eagles offensively as Devon Marquez brings it across. Guarded by Bynum. Comes right off the dribble. Stop and go. Comes down the right side of the lane. Takes it to the rack. Nice heads-up move for Marquez to see the open lane there and lays it in for 2 on that right glass. 10-8. Eagles up by 2 with 42 seconds left in the opening quarter. In the backcourt is Bynum. Cross-court right to Smith. Or make it 12-8, I should say. Uses up his dribble on the right wing. Gets a double team as Mackey and Vega converge on him, but ripping on the arm that time. They're going to get the foul call on the Eagles. Mackey looked like he got a piece of him, but they're going to call that instead against Vega, his first 15 foul on the black and gold. Pena will come back, Laban as well, and also the big man, Parker Henderson. Looks like staying on the court for the Eagles will be Archibald and Pena. Inbounding on the near sideline, Montoya for the Tigers gets it into Bickham. Bickham turns and faces the triple threat, unloads to Smith on the right wing. He jab steps against Lehman. Clock to 25. Up top to Montoya, sling it to the left side to Bickham. Bickham uses up his dribble against Archibald. Wrap around up top to Bickham, or correction, make that Montoya. He goes to the rack with a double clutch off the right glass and scores. First bucket of the game for Montoya. It's now 12-10. Eagles by the deuce with 6 seconds left in the first quarter. Pena going to slow it down, stop and go, top of the circle, fires up an NBA three, and nails it right before the buzzer. Pena with his second tray of the ball game. The Eagles leading at the end of one, 15-10 over Alamogordo. The third place game for the City of Champions tournament here in Artesia. We'll be back in 60 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back live here in Artesia at the pit. Tournament of Champions here. The Hobbs Eagles leading over Alamogordo, the third place game, 15-10. Look at the scoring in the first quarter. Warren leads the Tigers with 4 points, 2 apiece for Bynum, Montoya, and George. For your Hobbs Eagles, almost close to double digits. Abraham Pena with 8, including 2 trays. And Michael Mackey with 5 points. He's also 3 of 4 from the charity stripe. Devon Marquez in the bucket for 2. Eagles have been out-rebounded in the first quarter, though, 6-3. Hobbs with 3 turnovers, but 6 for Alamogordo. Starting the second quarter at the timeline to inbound is Montoya. Gets it into the backcourt to set up the offense. And bringing it across is Bickham. Bickham finds teammate Smith on the right wing, but knocked out by Devon Marquez, stepping up in the passing lane that time. And Marquez puts a blow on the ball and knocks it out. Just underway here in the second quarter. Inbounding for Alamogordo, Montoya having some trouble getting it in. Finally does know the timeline to Bickham right side as Mackey will step out on defense. Couple of dribbles, goes around the screen of Smith, doesn't use it, goes back to the timeline, backing into Pena now. High shot to Smith on the right wing. Kicks it down on the right elbow to Smith, and Smith tries to go up with the reverse. They're going to call the foul on the hold on the ground. Coach Jeremy Soria jumps off the bench and has some words to say on that one. They call the foul on Marquez. That'll be his second 16 foul, 1 away from the bonus. Backdoor bouncer on the fadeaway shot there. Off the back of the rim for Bickham. Pulled down for the Eagles by Argot, his first board. 15-10, Eagles by 5 as the pass to half court for Marquez. Comes around the right circle, hands it off to Mackey, right to left. And coming back to get it from him, Pena top of the arc. Back to Mackey on the right wing in front of the Alamogordo bench. He gets mauled hard as the reach foul called on Bickham. That's his first 14th foul against the Tigers. Coach Nee having some comments for his defense out there for the Tigers. Got to give the Eagles a little bit of a gap there, not slam down hard on top of them, which just happened. Marquez will get it into Mackey at the time stripe. Backs it out. Big hole between him and his defender, and that is Smith. Screen is applied but not taken. Marquez will move off to the left instead. Mackey has it on the right wing off the dribble. Spots up a 15-footer. Nails it right through the hole. Boy, talk about nice High shot coming down there for Mackey. He's got 7 points, the lead, or second leading scorer behind Pena with 8 for the Eagles.
And he did that without a defender in his face.
17-10. Hobbs with matching their biggest lead at 7. The pass into the lane at the other end, intended for Smith, is ripped away for the Eagles by Caden Hall for the 7th Tiger turnover. Over to Mackey, right corner, a fadeaway 3. Coach Nee is signaling a travel, not going to get it. Mackey's going to put it through the hole. He's got 10 points. That's the 3rd tray for the Eagles. 2 for Pena, 1 for Mackey. Biggest lead of the game now is 8, or make it 10, 20-10 your score. Eagles up, doubling up on the Tigers. Across the timeline comes Smith and a double team for Marquez and Hall. They're going to call the foul on the Eagles. That should be a bonus situation for Alamogordo, and Marquez not too happy about the call. He's going to get his 3rd personal here in the first half, 17 foul.
Once again, it seems like Hobbs is playing with more aggression as well as more enthusiasm, trying to get the victory out of this. So far, they're leading by 10.
Boy, they're bringing in a sub. They should have waited. No, it is a bonus. That's right. 1-and-1 bonus. They do bring in Lehman for Marquez. And on the line will be Dameron Smith. First free throw attempt for the Tigers. Smith was trying to get in the scorebook. Has no points at this juncture. 20-10 lead. Hobbs up by 10. Smith's free throws a swish. He'll get one more. There are 2 Smiths on the team. Davian Smith, the senior. Sophomore Dameron Smith, who's on the line. Davian started, and Smith came off the bench. 20-11 your score, waiting for the second free throw for Smith. I guess both Smiths are on the court right now. We'll have some fun with that one. Second shot bumping around and good for Smith. It's now 20-12. Hobbs up by 8. Bring the ball across the timeline is Abraham Pena. Defense kind of waiting for him at the top of the arc. That's Bickham, so big gap here. Coach Reeves is telling his team to rotate just a bit, get some people open. They're kind of staying flat-footed at this point. A little bit miscommunication there as Mackey was wanting to know what the call was. Pena comes around the right circle, throws it up top to Argod. Hand off to Mackey. Finds Hall on the right wing, gives it off with the handoff behind him to Lehman. Back deep to Argod, dribbles left with it, gives it back to Pena. Pena dribbles free throw line, gets hammered hard with the body. Shoulder shot there by the defender coming down the lane. That was Montoya to pick up the foul. And the 15th foul, that was the first on Montoya. Now a couple of subs coming in for the Alamogordo Tigers. Deontay Bynum, the starter. And other starter, Jason Warren. Warren with 4 points, Bynum with 2. Inbounding is Lehman on the left baseline for the Eagles. Sends it down left corner to Mackey. Dribbles up top of the circle after a screen from Argod and backs it out to the timeline. Stop and go, dribble to the left wing. Crossover move, gets a screen from Argott to the free throw line. Fadeaway J for Mr. Mackey, and boy, does he got the touch today. Right through the threads on the rim that time. Another tray for him. He's got 13, 22-12. Actually, they call that a 2. So 22-12 your score. Pass down the other end of the baseline, goes out of bounds, and that will be a turnover for Alamogordo, their 8th of the game. 22-12 your score. Hobbs by 10, matching their biggest lead here in the second quarter with 5:20 left before the half. Listening live to HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube, the 3rd place game for the Tournament of Champions here in Artesia. Mackey with the basketball after the pass on the left wing. Tries to throw it down low, and it's rejected and stolen by Warren for the Eagles' 4th turnover. Throws it ahead to a breaking Smith. Double clutch, misses the righty layup. Lehman underneath the hoop for the Eagles with the rebound, his first. Outlet to the timeline, far right to Pena. Stop and go. He'll back it out on the right wing. Lost the ball in front of the Alamogordo table, and he steps on the line for the turnover. 5th Eagle turnover so far. So far, Hobbs with 12 points for Mackey, 8 for Pena, 2 for Marquez.
And that's what happens when you get a little too enthusiastic. You lose the handle on the ball and cause another turnover.
Tigers win back to the backcourt. To Bynum on the far left, guarded by Lehman. Cross court right on the pass to Bickham. Double team with Lehman and Vega. Throws away from it. Throws it across the court, but it's taken away from Mackey. That'll be the 9th Tiger turnover. Mackey in the front court. Sends it off right wing to Vega. Guarded closely by Bynum. Returns to Mackey well outside the 3-point stripe up top. He wants it clear out on the left side. Sends Lehman to the hoop. And he tries to go drive against Smith, but Davian Smith puts a chest into him and gets the foul. His second, 16th foul against the Tigers. And both actually 7th. That's 7 on both squads, so bonus the rest of the half, as that'll put Mackey on the line. Mackey's 3 for 4 for 75%. Eagles as a team 3 for 6 for 50%. Trying to add on to the 10-point lead would be the biggest lead of the game with either one of these free throws. Shot is up off the front of the rim, though, for Mackey. No good. Underneath the hoop for the board is Davian Smith, his first. He'll dribble up the near sideline against Hall. Returns it back to Smith as Davian Smith has it. Across the timeline to Bickham, top of the arc. And returns back deep to Bynum. Bynum with a crossover move, top of the circle. Comes around the right wing. Mackey will pick him up on defense. Clock to 4:12 left here in the second. Eagles 22-12 over Alamogordo. Back deep to Warren. Drives the lane with the cradle. He gets bodied up as he tries to go to the right rack. They're going to say Lehman got him with the hip as he came down the lane. So Lehman will pick up his first personal and the 18th foul against the Eagles. Will be a bonus situation. And that will put on the line Jason Warren. Tigers as a team just 2 for 2 on the stripe, both hit by Dameron Smith. Looks like Coach Nee's going to bring back 2 players to talk to on the sideline here. He's going to give up some rebounding power, I guess. Free throws up for Warren, and it's off the back of the rim. No good. Nice block out on the left block by Argot, his second rebound. Outlet to the far sideline to Mackey. He'll bring it across in front of the Alamogordo bench. Fakes the handoff, drives the baseline, spins, lost the ball, and regains on the right wing. Gets a screen right from Hall. Kicks it up top to Argot. Around the left side with the handoff to Vega. Vega touch pass back to Hall on the right side. In front of the Tiger bench. Gets a screen from Lehman. Gives it back to Lehman right wing. Back deep to Argot. Back door caught by Vega on the right baseline, but they're going to call the foot on the line, so that will be a turnover for the Eagles. Good effort there for Vega to try to get that ball. That's the 6th turnover for the Eagles. Still leading by 10, though, double digits with 3:38 left here in the second. Half-court inbound to Bynum. He gets across. Crossover move, top of the circle. Dribbles out of traffic to the far left sideline. Slings it down left corner to Smith. Going to fire for 3 and nails it. Davian Smith, his first bucket of the game and first tray for the Tigers, who trail Hobbs now 22-15. 3:20 left here in the first half as Mackey will bring it across. Very patient now at the offense. Gets a screen from Argot. Top of the circle is Mackey off the dribble. Over to Hall on the right side. He'll hand it off to Vega going from right to left. Back to Argot, comes left side, handoff to Lehman. Crossover move to his left hand to the left baseline, gets bumped, no call. Wraparound pass the left wing to Argot. Argot with the jab step, he'll back it out, top of the circle. Slapped away out of his hands by Bickham. And it looks like Argot might have tried to reach out to grab him and gets the foul. That'll be the Eagles' 7th turnover. Foul on Argot, his first, and the 19th foul. So the Tigers will have the 1-on-1 bonus. Clock is stopped with 2:54 left in the second. Eagles up by 7. Pinning some free throws here for Bickham. Or correction, that is Kai Bickham. Yeah, that is Kai Bickham. Trying to read my roster numbers here and names. Hobbs Lady Eagles, unfortunately, losing today by 11 to Lubbock Cooper. And, of course, their top player down with another knee injury, unfortunately. We'll talk about that in just a minute. First free throw is up and good for Bickham, his first point of the ball game. He'll get one more.
Yeah, for the Lady Eagles, it must be like deja vu all over again.
22-16 the score as we wait Bickham's second free throw. Shot is up off the back of the rim, no good. Pulled down for the Eagles by Pena on the near sideline. So Pena gets his first rebound and slings it over to the far right to Mackey to bring it across. To the left wing, hands off to Pena. Top of the circle to Lehman. Back to Pena on the give and go. He goes to the rack with the left D and gets fouled going through 2 defenders high in the air that time and just barely misses out of the rim. Chance for a 2 free throw situation here. So they're going to call this against. It will be the 18th foul for the Tigers, and they charge that one to Brett George. That'll be his second.
For me, it looked like a good shot. It just didn't quite make it in, and luckily he did get the foul for it.
No free throws opportunities yet for Pena. First shot is up and switch. He's got 9 points. Right now, Mackey leads with 12 points, 9 for Pena and 2 for Marquez.
One of the things they were doing today during shoot-around was working on the free throw.
Eagles 4 of 6 from the charity stripe. Misses the second one hard off the back of the rim, went high in the air and pulled down to the left baseline off the board by Smith, his second rebound. Pass up the near sideline to Bickham. Double team with Hall and Lehman. Kicks it back far side left to Bynum. Across the timeline right to George. Over to left wing to Smith for 3. Off the side of the rim, no good. Tipped up in the air, pulled down underneath the hoop by Pena, his second rebound. Off to the races, spin move across the timeline. And finds Mackey on the left wing. Touch pass down to the left corner to Lehman. Returns to Mackey deep towards the timeline. Almost lost control of that one, but a good effort to get up in the air for Mackey. Clock to 2:05 left, second quarter. A screen on the left wing by Archibald. Top of the circle, Mackey uses up his dribble, though. Kicks it down right corner. Lehman spotting a three off the back of the rim. High bounce, and we got a whistle underneath. Might be some free throws here for the Eagles. They're going to call that against Alamogordo, which would be their 19th foul. It looks like they're going to call that against Bickham. That's his second personal. And on the line to shoot the 1-and-1 will be Archibek. He's 0 for 2 so far on the line. Eagles are 4 of 8 from the charity stripe for 50%. They came into this ball game, and they keep increasing their percentages, too, as they are now, for free throws, above the 50% mark. First shot is up and good for Archibek. He's 1 for 3 now on the line. Hobbs came into the game at 55%.
So they're almost continuing that right now with one more.
Archibek misses off the back of the rim. Rebound in the left corner for Alamogordo by Christian Caprice. Sends it pass deep to the baseline. To Bynum, almost lost out of bounds. Double team as he dribbles up to the timeline. Unloads to Smith on the right wing. A little windmill layup coming down the right side of the lane. Goes through 2 defenders, gets a foul call. Lehman and Archibek in the area. I'll see which one gets the call. That will be the Eagles' 10th team foul, by the way, the double bonus situation. They call the foul on Archibek, his first. On the line is Dameron Smith, 2 for 2 on the stripe. The team right now is 3 of 5 for 60%. Smith's first free throw is up, bounce around the rim and no good. Substitution coming in for Alamogordo is Zach Sell, one of their big kids. Eagles are going to remain on the court with Pena, Hall, Argot, Mackey, and Lehman. Missed free throw, put back up on the right block. It won't drop. Another rebound put up by Warren. He couldn't get either one of them to go, and Pena gets the rebound on the left wing. He'll take the dribble for the Eagles. That's his 3rd rebound in this ball game. Comes across the timeline, hands off to Mackey on the far right. He'll dribble back towards the time stripe with 1:25. Back to the right side, he goes off the dribble, behind his back now, and kicks it back deep to Hall. Hall come around the left wing, gives it off to Pena, fakes a three, drives to the free throw line, continues down the lane with the cradle, fade away on the hook, no good off the back of the rim. Pulled down by Argot in the paint, his 3rd rebound, up top to Mackey. He comes down with a double clutch, runs over his defender, a little bit out of control that time, juggling it in the air, and came down right on the top of Deontay Bynum. So that'll be a charge on Mackey, his first personal. Will not be a shooting situation due to being a charge, but that will be a turnover for the Eagles, their 8th. 8-point ball game. Hobbs by 8 over Alamogordo, 24-16 with 1:05 remaining. A bad pass on the far right sideline, stolen by Pena. He comes down the lane with a floater, misses off the back of the rim, and rebound on the left block by Caprice. That was the Tigers' 10th turnover. They get a steal at half court by Pena for turnover number 11. Pena gives it up top to Hall, returns to Pena, fakes a three on the right side, throws a hard one down to Lehman, almost took his face off that time. I think it brushed his right eye. The ball gets knocked out on the near sideline. Boy, a lot of mustard on that pass for Pena. Had a man open, but just a little bit too hard on the throw. That'll be the Eagles' 9th turnover.
Definitely did. It was like a cannon coming out from there.
46 seconds left in the half. Tiger basketball on the near sideline. Ball in the hands of Smith to the far side. Double team with Hall and Mackey. Gets it across the left wing to Caprice. Down to the left block. A couple of dribbles and going up strong with it on the left glass was Sell, his first bucket. 2 points for Sell, 24-18, a 6-point ball game. Eagles up, 20 seconds left in the half. In the front court, Pena wants to get a handoff to Mackey on the right wing and does so. Mackey will back it out, calling for a screen from Argot, which he gets. Top of the circle, hippity hop down the lane. Mackey goes to the rack, reverse layup right, and they got a foul underneath. So a call for Mackey to get some free throws on this one. You give Mackey the first step, he's going to go to the rack on you, which he did there. That's the Tigers' 10th team foul as they charge that one to Sell, his first. Mackey on the line, 3 of 5 for 60%. First shot is up and bouncing around the rim and good. First free throw for Mackey here in the second quarter. He's got 13 to lead the Eagles, 9 for Pena. The leader for Alamogordo is Warren with 4. Second free throw for Mackey's a swish. Gets them both. 14 now in the books for Michael Mackey. 26-18 Eagles by 8. 10 seconds left in the half. A long pass to the other end, overthrowing Sell out of bounds on the baseline. Turnover number 12. You can see some frustration. A couple of the other players yelling at after the turnover there for the Tigers. The inbound comes to Mackey. He's got 6 seconds. Meets the defender at the timeline. Drives down the lane. A runner shot from the free throw line off the back of the rim. Ball tipped around. Rebound, but that will end the half as Caprice comes down with it for the Tigers. So the Hobbs Eagles, wanting that third place distinction, lead the Alamogordo Tigers here at the half, 26-18. We're at the Pit in Artesia. We'll be back in 2 minutes live on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. Welcome back live to Artesia. We're at halftime. The Hobbs Eagles leading over Alamogordo 26-18 here in the third place game. Ty Friend and Ron Gunner with you. Let's talk the numbers first of all for the Alamogordo Tigers. Their top scorer with only 4, Jason Warren, had a couple of buckets in the first quarter, held scoreless in the second, went 0 for 2 on the line, but does have 3 rebounds. 3 points for Davian Smith with a tray. And after that, it's low numbers for Deontay Bynum with 2 points. Dameron Smith, 2 for 2, actually 2 for 4 on the line for 2 points. Elijah Montoya, Sell, and George all getting a bucket apiece for 2. And Kai Bickham went 1 of 2 from the line for 1 point. Now, Alamogordo's had 8 scorers so far, but again, they still trail with 18 points on the scoreboard. They were 3 of 8 from the line for 37% and had 12 turnovers. So Alamogordo had a total of, 3 more turnovers than the Hobbs Eagles, and their free throw shooting is not where it needs to be, only 37%. So they got to do some corrections quickly to get back in this one.
Exactly. And, this still is a close game. Alamogordo is still scrapping to fight to get into it, but from what I've seen so far, I've seen Hobbs coming in here playing with enthusiasm, with encouragement as far as getting better. So we're going to see what happens in a second. I'm still surprised that it's just 26 points so far in this game for the Eagles and only 18 for the Tigers. Reminds me back to the 1950 game with the Tigers and the Eagles. But who knows what's going to happen in the second half.
Definitely with a 3-point shot now, that might help the cause just a bit. The Eagles have only given up 1 3-pointer so far. That was Davian Smith. Davian. There's 2 Smiths out there. I got to keep them straight. Davian and Dameron. They are brothers, a senior and a sophomore. They have 1+ for Alamogordo in this game. They've out-rebounded the Eagles through 2 quarters, 14-10. Hobbs led with 14 points. Michael Mackey, also a rebound for him as well, and it had a lot of opportunities of free throws in this first half. He went 5 of 7 from the charity stripe, and that tells you that he's doing a good job of penetrating. He's had a number of layup opportunities and some rebounding to get some chances at free throws.
Yeah, plus he's also, I love the shot selection that he's doing too. He is picking and choosing them correctly. He is setting his feet before he gets his shot off, and that is always a good thing. It helps to get those, make those baskets.
Also for scoring for the Eagles, just shy of a double-digit number, Abraham Pena with 9 points. He had 2 trays in the first quarter and had another bucket as well. He had 8 of his 9 in the first quarter, went 1 of 2 on the line in the second, and had 3 rebounds in the contest. So he's got 2 of the 3 3-pointers that the Eagles have got in the first half, and that included Mackey with 1 as well. After that, big drop-off in scoring. Devon Marquez with a bucket for 2, and Chris Archibald coming off the bench, 1 of 3, or make it 1 of 4 from the line for 25%. He has 1 point. Eagles only have 4 scorers so far, but again, they do have an 8-point lead, 26-18 here at the half. Hobbs was 7 of 13 from the line for 53%. They had a total of 9 turnovers. And again, we mentioned the 10 rebounds compared to 14 for Alamogordo. Top boardman so far, Abraham Pena with 3. And also actually tied with Omar Argot. He has 3 as well. Hobbs led 15-10 at the end of the first quarter and outscored Alamogordo in the second, 11-8. About a minute and a half away from second half action. Your Hobbs Eagles lead Alamogordo 26-18. We'll be back in 1 minute to get the second half going live on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube.
Getting back to action live here at the pit, Artesia Pit, as the Hobbs Eagles are facing against the Alamogordo Tigers. Ron Gunner here, along with Ty Friend. We're about to get the ball underway. Here we go for the action to start for the third quarter. And here we are as we get it to the half court.
Caden Hall with the basketball up top to Pena, slinging off to the right side for the Eagles to Omar Argot. Back to Mackey on the right wing, back deep to Hall. Just underway here in the third quarter, the third place game of the tournament champions, as Argot will get the pass on the right side. Uses up his dribble, pivoting against double team pressure. Coming back to get it is Marquez, and he'll back it out to the timeline to reset. Listening live to Hobbs Eagle Basketball, HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. Marquez goes baseline, fadeaway J from 10, hits the side of the backboard and comes loose underneath. And he gets booted out of bounds. Let's see who they're going to give this possession to here. Looks like Hobbs will retain it on the right side baseline. They lead by 8. Biggest lead in the first half was 10 points for the Eagles. Marquez to inbound. Bouncing on his toes here, having some trouble finding somebody. Mackey has to come back for on the right wing and barely gets a hold of it. He's guarded closely by Davian Smith. Drives baseline, uses up his dribble, back deep to Pena. Slinging left side to Marquez, fakes a three, jab step. Screen from Hall, doesn't use it, returns back to Pena. Pena wants a rotation going as he comes the right side on the clear out. Gets a screen from Argot. He's going to spot up an NBA three off the back of the rim. And a rip down rebound on the right block by Davian Smith, his third. He'll dribble into the front court. Top of the circle. Stop and go against Caden Hall. Returns up top to Bynum. Bynum's going to slow it down. Return it deep to Smith again. Smith with a lefty dribble down the lane. Cradles, fadeaway J for the left elbow, and puts it up for two. Nice control of that basketball in the air for Davian Smith. He's got 5 points. 6-point Eagle lead. Into the front court. Mackey with the pass to the left wing. Goes back door, and there is Pena with the lefty layup. Pena now leading the Eagles in second team scoring, I should say. 14-11. Mackey with 14 and Pena with 11. 28-20, Eagles by 8. Into the front court comes Davian Smith. Hard shot down to the right baseline to Warren. Fade away off the block, no good. Trying to get his own rebound, but there's a battle for it. Tipped up in the air, pulled down by Davian Smith. His fourth rebound gets tied up quickly by Mackey. And there'll be a jump ball underneath the hoop. Arrow's going to go to Alamogordo on the left baseline. I don't think they called a foul on that one, did they? Yes, they did. Caden Hall was called with a push. That's his third. Didn't know where that came from, but that is the first team foul in the second half. Inbound on the right wing, driving baseline right is Bynum. Got around Marquez for a second. Marquez tried to reach out and grab him and gets the foul. So already 2 fouls on the Eagles. And for Marquez, that's going to put him at number 4 personally. So he's got to take a seat as Lehman checks in for him.
And the shot didn't count.
Baseline inbound, ricochet off the foot of the Eagles as Argot gets in the paint and boots it out. Go to the right baseline where Tigers will have repossession here. Jason Warren to throw it in. Finds Bynum on the left wing, guarded by Lehman. Up top to Warren, underhands it back to Bynum. Bynum's just going to back it out. Coach Nee wants a reset here. Gives it off to Smith coming down the lane. Fade shot and gets it going through the hole. Looked kind of ugly, but he pushed it through on a shot put look. He's got his back-to-back buckets, 7 points for him. 28-22 Eagles. Drive to the free throw line. Shot for Pena off the front of the rim. Long rebound for the Tigers in transition by Davian Smith. He'll come into the front court off the dribble. Cross court left, the pass to Brickham. Brickham comes to the top of the circle off the dribble. Guarded by Pena now and Lehman double team. Throws it down to Smith, right base, underneath the hoop. Lost the ball in the scoop pass, taken away by Lehman on the near sideline. Lehman gets pushed in the back. They call the foul on Davian Smith. That'll be his third personal. And the first team foul against the Tigers here in the third quarter. That also counts as the 13th turnover for Alamogordo.
Yeah, that was a critical one, too. It looked like Hobbs was going to be able to do something with it. They do have the ball back, though.
5:20 left, third quarter. Your Eagles up 28-22 over Alamogordo for third place here at the tourney in Artesia. Pena gets a screen from Hall, drives the lane right side, a triple team, unloads the Lehman right wing. Back deep to Hall. Hall's going to pivot, looks for help, coming back to get his Lehman, now dribbling back to the timeline. Over to Mackey on the left side. It looked like it was touched by the Tigers, goes out off of Bickham's hand. And Hobbs will get in front of their bench on the left sideline. Eagles at 3-2 on the season. The Tigers from Alamogordo 2-2. Inbound to Pena on the left wing. Spots up an 18-footer. Double clutch. He was going to get blocked on the first one. Came up underneath and shot anyway and puts it through the hole. Nice touch there for Pena. He's got 13. 30-22. Eagles by 8. Long ball to Smith in the left wing. He fires up a 3 for the Tigers. His second tray of the ball game. He's got both of them for Alamogordo. 30-25. Eagles fumble the ball in the front court. It's taken away by Bynum. Eagles get the intent turnover. Bynum tries to come down the lane, and bodies are flopping on the ground. We got some extracurricular going on, some shoving matches underneath the hoop. Caden Hall's having some issues. And another Alamogordo player got in a scuffle as well. That was Brett George, the big kid. So you're going to see if they're going to call the foul on here. That's a foul charge to Caden Hall. That's his 4th personal, 3rd team foul. And that's going to put on the line Deontay Bynum. Bynum got trampled a little bit, and I think he might have pushed after he got the foul call. And that's when Caden Hall was not a happy camper. So on the line is Bynum. You have to shoot a free throw. They're 3 of 8 as a team at the half, 37%. But a free throw there by Bynum for 3 total now in his scorebook. Substitution for the Eagles coming in is Archibald as he checks in for Hall, has to sit with 4 fouls. One more shot here for Bynum. Is up, and it is good. He's got 4 points. They're 5 of 10 from the line now for 50%. 30-27. Hobbs just up by 3 with 4:30 left here in the third. Coming across the timeline off to Jimel Pena. Hands off to Mackey left to right. And we've got an illegal screen call against the Eagles, so things are starting to unravel just a bit as they charge that one to Argot, his second 4th-team foul. 4-1 foul count now. Not favoring the Eagles in that category as the inbound to the backcourt to Bynum for the Tigers. Pena will meet him at half court on the defense. Stop and go dribble for Bynum as he comes across the line. Has a man wide open left corner, Bickham for 3. Air ball hits the bottom of the net only. On the baseline for the rebound is Archibald, his second. Gives it off to Pena now in the backcourt to bring it across uncontested defensively. Bynum will pick him up in the half court D. And Coach Reeves wants a timeout. Going to talk some offense here. 4:06 left here in the third. Hobbs holding on to a 3-point lead, 30-27 over Alamogordo. We'll take a 30-second break and come back live on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. Welcome back to third quarter action, the third place game. Tournament champions here in Alamogordo make it Artesia. Alamogordo playing the Hobbs Eagles in this one. Tigers playing some D against the Eagles now. Hobbs going to go back door on the right baseline, but overthrowing Lehman is Pena out of bounds. That'll be the 11th Eagle turnover. Hobbs up by 3, 30-27 over the Tigers. Of course, the Eagles won 82-41 last year at the tournament. The pass is deflected in the backcourt back to Bynum. Nice D by Lehman back there. One-hander up the far right sideline for the Tigers to Smith. Cross-court left, pulling it down is Bickham. Bickham guarded by Lehman now. 3:40 left here in the third. Hobbs by 3. Wrapped around pass to Bynum at the timeline. Guarded by Mackey. Dribbles left to the circle. Kicks it up top to George. George one-hands it to the right elbow to Warren. He runs over his defender, boy, at the forearm and knocks Payton to the floor. And that will be a charge. And boy, couple of players for both teams getting a little bit heated now. That was an ugly charge. Kind of threw the forearm out in front, and Coach Nee smartly puts that kid on the bench to rest a little bit and think about it.
Perfect timing because Ronald Ross was just coaching some of the players up on how to take a charge.
Warren gets his first personal. That will also be the 14th team foul and second foul against the Tigers as a team. 30-27, Eagles by 3 in the front court. Pena handing off to Mackey left to right. Comes to the timeline, jump stop, uses up the dribble, and gives it off near side to Argot. Hand off behind him to Pena, right wing. Back deep to Mackey near the timeline. He'll back it out to the scores table on the left sideline. Screen coming from Archibek, uses it against double team pressure. Goes baseline, double clutch, gets 3 defenders crashing on him. And Mackey will get a chance for some free throws. I believe they're going to call this a shooting foul. They'll call the foul against Smith. That's Dameron Smith, his second, third team foul, and Mackey on the line. Eagles were 7 of 13 at the half, 53% on the charity stripe. And Mackey himself 5 of 7. He has 14 points, leading the Eagles, Pena with 13. First shot's a swish for Mackey. He's made his last 3 free throws and extends the lead to 4, 31-27. Had some real tight games the last few, Ron. Of course, a lot of low scores in this tournament as well. Teams kind of battling out, and a lot of tough defense being played for most of the squad so far.
Exactly. It's not just the Hobbs Eagles or anybody else that we've seen. It's everybody that seems to be having trouble getting the points to flow.
The Eagles getting both free throws, so Mackey's got 16. Total 32-27, Hobbs by 5. Ball thrown across the timeline, loose. Picked up, though, by the Tigers. That's Montoya. Looking for some help. Underhands it to Bynum near the timeline. Falls to the floor and tries to scoop it over to George and makes a connection and gives it off behind him to Bickham on the far right sideline. 2:40 left here in the third. Bickham with the stop and go. Gets a screen right wing from George. Fires up an NBA 3. Gets knocked down. The official might have missed that one. It hits the baseline. And, boy, it looked like Argot completely flattened Bickham. The official was looking down at the paint and did not see that happen. So it'll be Hobbs basketball as Aaron shot there for Bickham. Bringing it across the timeline is Mackey. Gets a screen deep near the timeline by Vega. Pass left wing to Vega. He fires up a tray and nails it. The freshman hitting a big one there. First tray of the game for him and the 4th three-pointer for the Hobbs Eagles compared to just 2 for Alamogordo. 35-27, 8-point Eagle lead. High pass to Bynum across the timeline, backs out to the time stripe, going one-on-one against Payne into the free throw line, pushes off and picks up another charge. Shove off there by Bynum on the player control foul. That's his first and the 14th foul against the Tigers. They've had that happen a couple of times on the last 3 trips down the court here.
Yes, exactly. You know, this Eagles press is really causing fits for these Tigers right now.
And looks like Coach Neal called the timeout for Alamogordo. 2:04 left, third quarter. Hobbs up over the Tigers 35-27. We'll come back in 60 seconds on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle basketball on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube as the Eagles lead in the third place game of the Tournament of Champions here in Artesia, 35-27 over Alamogordo. Hobbs coming in with a 3-2 record. The Tigers at 2-2. Tigers have gone 1-1 at the tournament, the same as the Eagles. Hobbs going to be out for about 13 or so days after this one, so it's going to be a long wait for another game for Hobbs. They will be at home for a doubleheader. We'll get that information here in the postgame. 35-27, Hobbs by 8. Mackey in the front court. Long screen, no, a fake screen as they passed to Vega instead. He was going to be the screen man. Hands it back to Mackey on the far side in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench left wing. Comes to the free throw line behind his back. Spots up a J, fade away inside the circle, and it's a board off the left side rim. Pulled down for Alamogordo by Montoya. Gives it off to the half-court line to Smith. He'll bring it across. Over to right wing to Bynum. Stop and go and backs it out against Mackey with 1:30. Now back to the top of the arc and again backs it out in front of the Alamogordo bench right side. Unloads to Surprise. Surprise down low to the right block. Fumbling the ball for second George. Kicks it back right wing. 3 on the way for Surprise off the mark. Tip back up with 2 hands over the front of the iron by Bryant. He can't come down with it. Long rebound for the Eagles. Here comes Pena. He goes to the rack, misses the righty layup. Back up for Argot on the right side and gets a roll around the rim and good. Argot with 4 boards and 2 points now for the Eagles. 1:06 left in the third. Eagles by 10, matching their biggest lead back in the second quarter. Bynum with the basketball, slings it across the timeline to Smith, right side. He spins against double team pressure, stripped for the Eagles by the freshman Vega, but he lost the ball back, so turnovers for both teams. And coming down the left baseline is Montoya, leans and shoots, counted on the lefty layup, and a foul. Montoya now with 4 points. They're going to try to make it 5 with the free throw. They call the foul against Mackey, his second, 15th foul against the Eagles. That will put on the line Elijah Montoya. He's yet to shoot a free throw.
He went strong to the basket on that one, was not going to be denied on it. Not only did he make it, but he also, of course, earned that free throw.
Tigers are 5 of 10 from the charity stripe for 50%. They get 1 attempt here. Shot is rimming out, no good. And pulling it down for the Eagles is Pena. That's his 5th rebound. He'll bring it across the timeline. Going the right wing, backdoor to Lehman, but gets his pass rejected by Bynum and gets the steal out of it. That's Eagles' 13th turnover. Throws it across the timelines to Smith for the Tigers and back deep to the time stripe to Bynum. In the front court with 28 seconds left. Jab step, dribbling through his legs. Screen up top from George. Continues the right corner. Now baseline right side. Puts it up top to Surprise. Over to left corner to Smith. Smith with a couple of dribbles. And uses it up. Good defensive pride by Argot. Dumps it down to the left corner. And a couple of dribbles as well for Montoya. Back deep to Bynum with 8 seconds now. He finds Surprise on the right wing. Bounce pass low to the right block to George. Fadeaway jumper is an air ball out of bounds. The Eagles will get the ball with 1.6 seconds left on the right baseline of their backcourt. Inbounding will be Vega. Gets it in to Pena. He's going to shoot a 3/4 court shot at the buzzer, and it goes short of the rim at the other end. But the Hobbs Eagles up by 8 at the end of 3 in this third place game at the Artesia Tournament in the Bulldog Pit. Again, 37-29 Hobbs. We'll come back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Exclusive coverage of your Hobbs Eagles on the road at the Artesia Tournament of Champions as they lead here in the third place game, 37-29 over Alamogordo. Last year, these two teams battled here at the same tournament, Eagles winning 82-41. Michael Mackey, the only returning player from that squad, other than a couple that are injured, but he had 13 in that game, was second or third leading scorer in the contest. Also had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Jalen Gore finished with 17 in that game. Aaron Mora 14 and Mackey 13, as we mentioned. Hobbs shot 55% in that game and hit 4 3-pointers. They were 43% from the 3-point arc. The big difference was turnovers. Alamogordo with 30 in that game. Hobbs with just 10. Eagles up by 8 here. Tiger basketball to start the fourth quarter. Coming across the timeline with it is Bickham. Eagles leading scorer is 16 for Mackey and 13 for Pena. 10 total for Davian Smith. He's a leader for the Tigers. Nobody else in double digits. Hobbs playing some aggressive defense now here in the fourth quarter. Pass unloaded to Sell on the right wing, guarded closely by Argot. Bad pass to the free throw line, taken away by Vega. That's the 16th Tiger turnover. To Pena in the front court, cross court left to Vega. Fires it down left corner to Mackey for 3 off the back of the rim, no good. And we got a rebounding foul. Coming down with it for Alamogordo was Sell, his 3rd board. They're going to call the push foul on the Eagles underneath. That will be the Eagles' 16th foul and the 3rd against Argot. Caden Hall in foul trouble. Marquez in foul trouble, both with 4, and again 3 for Argot. Coming across the timeline is Bickham. Slides left. He gets a triple team. Cross court right on the pass to Smith. And back deep to reset to Bickham. Picked up on D by Braylon Vega. Finds Caprice on the right wing. Tries a bounce pass, one-hander, taken away by Mackey on the far sideline. Tigers' 17th turnover. Mackey up ahead to a breaking freshman, and that is Mr. Vega adding another 2 points here in the second half. He's got 5 overall. 6:50 remaining in the game. Hobbs by 10, matching their biggest lead. Going back to the second quarter. Pass to the left wing to Bickham for the Tigers. He'll back it out to the timeline. Gets a screen on the left side by Montoya. And then a body foul called against Archibek as he was trying to get away from the screen and kind of barreled into him. So Archibek will pick up his second. That'll be the 17th foul, and that will put Alamogordo on the line to shoot the bonus. Clock will stop with 6:40 remaining here in the fourth. Davian Smith will step up. Correction, that is Bickham. He's 1 of 2 on the line. He's going to get the 1-on-1 bonus here. Wearing a green shoe, kind of a cream green, and a pink shoe as well. First shot is good. It bounced around the rim for just a second and goes through. Bickham now with 2 points on 2 of 3 free throw shooting. Bickham had a couple of three-pointers in the first game. They beat Deming to start the season, regular season, not the tournament. Second shot is off the back of the rim, no good. Loose on the right block, put up underneath with 2 defenders on top of his back. That was Warren getting his 4th rebound and brought 2 black and golds over the top of his shoulders, as I said, and that will give him some more free throw opportunities. They charged that one to Argot. Has just picked up his 4th, so now 3 players with 4 fouls each. Marquez, Argot, and Hall. That will be the 8th team foul for the Eagles. Warren is 0 for 2 from the charity stripe. Now make it 0 for 3 as he bricks off the back of the rim. And now Hall's going to return for Argot. So a guy with 4 coming in for a guy with 4.
You know, there have been a whole lot of chances or opportunities on the free throw line, and so far Alamogordo is not taking advantage of that.
Warren's going to get 1 more shot. He's 0 for 3. It is up and good, as you say that, Ron. He's going to look back over here at the scores table now. 5 points for Jason Warren. It's now 39-31. Eagles by 8. In the front court comes Mackey. Going to slow some dribble here, waiting for the clock to run. Comes to the right wing. Slides to the near side. He's going to spot up a tray, and in and out for him. No good. Ball loose on the right baseline. Pulled down by Montoya. His second rebound. Outlet near side to Smith. Comes across to the left wing. Lost the ball off the dribble. Regains it in the left corner. Good pressure put on by Vega. Back deep on the pass to Bynum. He'll back it out to the timeline off the dribble. One-hand sling pass over to Smith on the left wing. Jab step. Going down the left side of the lane. Baseline fadeaway jumper from 5. Off the back of the rim, no good. Pull down for the Eagles on the left block by Archibek, his 3rd rebound. Outlet to the far sideline to Vega. Or correction, Pena. And he's going to get the offense set up with 5:50 remaining. Comes around the right circle. Hands off to Mackey. Top of the arc. Off the dribble. Gives to Vega going back to the right to Mackey. Comes down the right baseline. Bangs into his defender. Leans a shot on the hook. Ooh. Count it. And the body foul. Chance for a 3-point play. Mackey gets his 18th point of the ball game. That'll be the Tigers' 15th foul. He just leaned towards the defender, and that will be the foul on Smith. They've got Smith down for 5 fouls. I had him for 4, but he will foul out of the ball game with 10 points. He was the leading scorer, so the Eagles pretty happy about that.
Well, they should also be happy the way Mackey just went forward on that one. He was all Mackey. Was able to get the hoop, got it into the net, and drew the foul as well.
Mackey 7 of 9 for the charity stripe. 18 points to lead the Eagles, 13 for Abraham Pena, and nobody else even close to double figures after that. Free throws up and good for Mackey. 3-point play. He's got 19 now to lead both teams. 42-31, 11-point Eagle lead, the biggest of the ball game. Ball at the timeline for Bynum. Slings it high in the air to Smith. Smith has a jump for it. Dumps it down to the left baseline to Warren. Cross court right to Bynum. Fakes a 3. Hippity hop down the lane. Gets fouled from behind. Tried to put up a shot over the top of Vega, but it was pulled from behind by Mackey. So Mackey picks up his 3rd personal. 19th foul against the Eagles. And Bynum will be on the line where he's perfect, 2 for 2.
Another substitution coming in.
I guess they're going to call that just a hold foul, not a shooting foul. Stopped it dead. Going to be a 1-and-1 now for Bynum. We mentioned 2 for 2 on the line. Has 4 points. Hobbs by 11, pinning these free throws. Shot is up, and in and out, no good. Pulled down on the left block. A fadeaway for Warren. Can't get it to drop. left baseline ripped down by Vega, throwing the washing machine elbows that time. That's his first rebound as he outlets to the timeline to Pena. Very methodical here on the D now. Just going to keep the clock running. Don't want to have any turnovers here. And the Eagles want to add on to that 9-point lead. They go back door, and there's a layup on the reverse. Windmill style there. Mackey connects with Pena for his 15th point.
Nice connection.
44-31. Eagles have their biggest lead now, 13 in the game. Coming across the timeline up the far sideline, Bickham. Bickham gets floored, and it looks like Mackey and Vega there. One of them is going to get the foul. That will be a double bonus situation. Tried to go through two defenders and got flattened that time. That will be the 10th team foul. Double bonus the rest of the game for Alamogordo. They charge that one to Vega, his second. On the line to shoot two, the double bonus, Kai Bickham. He is 2 for 4 on the line, 50%. Shot is up and a swish for Bickham. Yet to get any buckets, but he's got to put some free throws on his column there. Caden Hall is going to return to check in for Chris Archibek for your Eagles. One more free throw for Bickham. Trailing Hobbs by 8, 44-32. Second shot is up, and it is good. Bickham is now 4 of 6 from the line. We've got a timeout on the court. 4:53 left in this third place game. The tournament champions in Artesia. Hobbs up by 11, 44-33. We're coming back in 60 seconds on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. Back here at the pit in Artesia, Hobbs Eagle basketball, the tournament of champions. Ty Friend, Ron Gunner with you. Hobbs up by 11 in the third place game, 44-33 here in the fourth quarter. Now, Hobbs has a pretty decent record against this Tiger team over the years, going back to 1950, 68 wins, 19 losses, a 15-year winning streak going back to 2005, so they definitely have the upper hand here. Of course, all the stats you can imagine with that book by Rick Shedd, Hobbs Eagle by the Numbers. I mean, he definitely keeps you updated on what goes on with these matchups. And there have been a few years where Alamogordo has had the Eagles' numbers, but it's been a few and far between. Again, 68-19 record for Hobbs against the Tigers. And you're going to add another one tonight at 69, it looks like at this point. 11-point lead with 4:40 remaining. On the far sideline, Abraham Pena in front of the Eagles bench goes back to the timeline and sends it back to Mackey on the left wing. Looking for the backdoor cut, decides not to throw it. Top of the arc, unloads to Hall. Comes to the right side and gives it off to Pena. Pena trying to get a pivot against Bickham. Gets to the top of the arc and gives it back deep to Argot. Comes left, hands it off to Vega. Gets the ball tipped out of his hands, but picked up by Hall, top of the circle. Bounce pass to Mackey on the near side. A double team, gets knocked to the floor, no call. Bickham gets a steal. The Eagles' 14th turnover. Bickham goes to the rack on the left side, is fouled. Going up, the ball squirts up straight up in the air. They call the foul, though. For the Eagles, that will be their 11th team foul. They charged that one to Argot, I believe. If that is the case, that would be his 5th. Yep, 5 on Argot. He's going to foul out with 2 points and 4 rebounds.
I think Mackey's got a little problem with his hand right now. In any case, he was looking to see why he did not get a call when he was knocked down to the floor or the ground.
They're going to put a sub in for the Eagles. Chris Archibek comes in for the fouled out Omar Argot. That's going to put on the line Bickham. Bickham is 4 of 6 from the charity stripe. All his points on free throws and a shot there as well. He's made his last 3 here in the fourth quarter. So 5 in the books for Kai Bickham. Clock stop with 4:11 left here in the fourth. Hobbs up by 10 over Alamogordo, 44-34, pinning this free throw. Second shot is up, and it is good. 44-35, Hobbs by 9. Pena gets the inbound, matching up man-to-man now with the Tigers. Throwing across the timeline to Vega left wing. Steps out of the three-point shot, returns it back at the timeline in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench left. Spin move to the left elbow. Back to the left corner to Vega for 18 and puts it through the hole, right through the threads. Vega Almost a tray that time. 7 total for Vega. 47-35. Hobbs by 12. In the front court is Bynum. Clocked at 3:40 left in the game. Dribbling through his legs. In front of the Alamogordo bench, right side. Cross court left to Bickham. On the baseline, steps back in the left corner. Thought about a three. Instead throws it back deep to Bynum. Bynum will dribble out of pressure to the top of the arc. Kicks it down to the right block to Warren. Fadeaway J from the block off the right rim and in for 2. So he puts it through, does Warren. He's got 7 points and 5 rebounds. Mackey throws it deep here to Pena on the near side. Cross court left to Mackey. 3:10 remaining. Eagles up by 10. Mackey will back it out to the timeline near the scores table left. Stepping out on D is Bynum. 5-second count is on. Gets around him to get the count stopped. Caught the ball in his hip and gets a carry. And that'll be a turnover for the Eagles. That's their 15th of the ball game, but they do have a 10-point cushion with 3:02 remaining. Inbound deep to the backcourt to Bynum. Bynum will take on Vega one-on-one to the front side, near sideline. Dribbles the left baseline, 10-footer on the fade, and kind of puts his body through to Vega to try to pull the foul and gets the call from the official. So Vega's going to pick up his 3rd personal, 12th team foul. And that's going to send Bynum to the line to shoot 2. He's 2 for 3 from the charity stripe. Hobbs Eagle fans don't like that. They do think that Bynum leaned in to Vega to get the foul call.
And he did. But, you know, the end result is what the ref sees, not what we see.
Bynum will get the free throw. He's now 3 of 4 from the line for 75% and has 5 points. 10 points a leader, Davian Smith, who already fouled out of the game. 7 for Warren. And 6 for Bickham, your top scorers for the Tigers. Second free throw, hard off the front of the rim. Chased down by Bynum in the right corner for a second rebound. He's going to dribble open from the Tiger bench right wing. Eagles have 19 for Mackey, 15 for Pena. Pass to the right wing. Connects to Bickham. Bickham's going to fire up a 3 and nails it. And a quick timeout for Coach Nee. Bickham with the tray. That's the 3rd three-pointer of the ball game for the Tigers. And a total of 9 points for Bickham, and that was his first bucket, besides free throws, in this ball game. Clock will stop, 47-41 here in the 4th, and the Eagles, again, still a game that can be brought back by the Tigers. That's why Coach Nee called a quick timeout there to discuss the comeback for his squad.
Exactly. There is still plenty of time left with 6 points to go. You know, the Tigers are definitely not out of this by any means whatsoever.
Of course, we mentioned the Eagles going to be off for about 13 days before their next game, and they'll have a doubleheader Friday and Saturday when they come back here in 13 days. And, of course, a lot of teams don't like the layoffs like that, but it's kind of hard to schedule teams. Nobody wants to play the Hobbs Eagles. At the same time, they had a game canceled from Amarillo and haven't been able to get a reschedule on that yet.
Well, you know, besides the fact they may be getting some extra practice, which they definitely need to get, every team does, they also may be getting back a couple of players, too, from the injury bug. So we're hoping to get that back to where they're in a full lineup again, and they can rely on some of those players that can get those rebounds. Yeah,
Pena being one of those, Turbiatis another, and, of course, Van Landingham's been out for a few weeks, hasn't even been on the court yet with a collarbone injury from football. So Eagles will break the press on a couple of passes. It gets loose. Hall picks it up on the right wing. Gives off to Mackey coming down the lane. Fade shot from the right block, no good. Rebound pulled down on the block there by Alamogordo's Brett George, his second. Outlet across the timeline, right wing to Bickham, who just hit that tray moments ago. Gets double team pressure. Throws it up top off the hands of Bynum, taken away by Mackey. That'll be turnover number 6, or make it 18. Mackey comes down the lane, gives it off with the reverse layup to Archibald. Misses off the right rim, and a rebound in the right corner by Bickham, his first. Outlet to the timeline for Bynum with 2 minutes remaining. One hands it down the lane. It's knocked away by Archibald. Nice steal taken down for the Eagles by Vega. And that'll be the 19th Alamogordo turnover. Mackey has the basketball now. On the left wing, drives the lane, kicks it back deep to run some clock for Vega with 1:45 remaining. Couple of jab steps, gets around Smith, lost the ball. Smith punched it out from behind. They're going to call the reach foul, though, on Dameron Smith. That'll be his 3rd personal and the 16th foul against the Tigers. So Hobbs still not in the bonus. We got a timeout. Coach Nee wants to talk to the Tigers. A 60-second timeout. 1:41 left in the 4th. Hobbs trying to get the 3rd place distinction here at the Artesia Tournament of Champions. They lead by 6. We'll be back in half a minute. Hobbs up 47-41 late here in the fourth quarter, third place game of the tournament champions in Artesia. Ty friend Ron Gunner with you. We're talking before the break about the layoff for the Hobbs Eagles. Next game is December 16th. That's a Friday. They play Organ Mountain from Las Cruces in Tasker Arena. And the following afternoon, on Saturday the 17th of December, it's Mayfield. So the Trojans come to town for a 3:30 start. So not very much of a turnaround between Friday and Saturday, but they have a couple days to worry about that.
Right, exactly. The teams that you want to try to get back into it with, I would believe Organ Mountain and Mayfield would be the exact right teams to get your rhythm back again.
Again, they used to play in the same district with Organ Mountain and Mayfield, along with some other squads in there, Centennial and Las Cruces High. Boy, Carlsbad took it into the mat, almost got a win in overtime last Tuesday. It was this past Tuesday, I should say, and Carlsbad just losing by a couple of points there late in the overtime, and Las Cruces came away with the victory on their home court. Referees stopped the action here before the inbound. Not sure what that was all about. It's going to be Hobbs basketball in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench. 1:41 remaining here in the fourth. Hobbs up 47-41 over Alamogordo. Bago inbound to the backcourt. Mackey gets it. Takes it across the timeline against Dameron Smith. Stop and go. Crossover now to the right side. Jump stop and returns back deep to Vega near the timeline. He jab steps as well up the near side. Spin move and comes back with a pass to Payne at the time stripe. Gives back to Vega, far left, in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench. Kicks it down to Hall in the left corner. Double team, returns to Vega. Cross court right to Pena, running the clock with 1:15 remaining. Getting a shove on him is Bynum, no call. Stop and go for Vega on the right side. Back deep to Mackey at the timeline, near sideline. Going to go one-on-one against Smith. Comes down the lane, finds Hall in the left corner. Back to Vega, left side. He gets knocked in the head and falls to the floor. It's getting up in the air was Dameron Smith and crashed down on top of him. So they'll call the foul on Smith, his fourth, 17th foul. So the Eagles should have the one-on-one bonus here. That will send Vega to the line. Board is only saying 6. Do they add the extra foul there? They're calling it the 6th foul. I've got 7. It was 6 just a second ago, but the inbound comes the left wing. Pivoting and then getting out of the traffic. There's Pena back to the timeline off the dribble. Throws a high one to Mackey, who gets ripped hard on the near sideline, just in front of the half-court stripe. And getting him hard was Bickham. Bickham's third personal, 8th, or make it 17th foul.
Now they're in the bonus.
That'll be a one-on-one for Mackey. Mackey with 19 points. He's made his last 5 free throws.
Yes, we have just under a minute to go in this game.
He's 8 of 10 from the charity stripe for 80% and makes that one there. So now at 20. Mentioned coming into the game, he was averaging 14.5 in the 2 tournament games. 9 in game 1, 20 yesterday, and he's got 20 again in this one. Was averaging 20 points coming into the tournament as well. Mackey's free throw, second one, is up and good. So 3 free throws for Mackey here in the fourth quarter alone. He's got 21 points to lead both teams, 49-41. Eagles by 8 with 50 seconds remaining. Long pass down the court, kickoff to left wing, a 3 on the way, and swish it through is Bickham. He's had 2 trays here in the fourth quarter, and 12 make it 13 points. 39 seconds remaining, Eagles by 5. Mackey gets fouled on the baseline. He's got the inbound, hammered by Dameron Smith. That should be Smith's 5th personal. They got him down for 4, so I'm not sure where these numbers are coming off the scoreboard here. Thought I've been keeping pretty close track, but that's me talking. That will be the 18th foul against the Tigers. Mackey back on the line, trying to add to his 21 points. 37 seconds left here in the third place game in Artesia. 49-44 Eagles. Got to put the icing on the cake here for Hobbs as the ball ricocheting around the rim and does drop through, and big smile on the face of Mackey as he's glad it did decide to stay inside the cylinder. 50-44, a 6-point lead now, and 22 for Mackey. Three dribbles, little spin backward here for Mackey. Shots up, and it's a swish.
Nice.
5 free throws here in the fourth quarter. 23 points for Michael Mackey. 35 seconds remaining. Eagles by 7. Stop and go dribble for Bynum. Comes across the timeline against Mackey to the left side. Crossover move, backs it out to the near sideline. Running a lot of clock here. One-hand pass up top to Montoya, pivoting. Clock still running at 19. Comes around the right side of the lane, goes up with a scoop shot, rolls off the front of the rim, no good. Caden Hall picks up his second rebound. He's foul as he gives it off to Mackey. I think they're going to call the foul for Mackey to go to the line here. Nice board for Hall, though. Clock will stop with 13.8 remaining.
Yeah, Mackey should have it. He was getting the ball when the foul occurred.
7-point lead for the Eagles.
Everything done as far as celebrations are going to be starting here in a second.
Now they have Dameron Smith with 4 fouls. He just fouled a second ago. It should go to 5 here, but he stays in the ball game, so I'm not sure what that's all about. 19th foul against the Tigers. Shot is up, and it's a swish for Mackey. Boy, a kid won't miss since the third quarter. It's back to the second quarter. He had 2 to finish up the half, and then has been 8 of 8 of the free throw line here in the second half.
Yeah, I have a feeling if you miss free throws in practice, you run, but if you miss them in the game, you also get to run too.
Second shot is up and good. Swishes them both. And has 25 points to lead both teams is Michael Mackey. Clock down to 10 seconds left. Eagles up by 9, 53-44. Bynum comes across the timeline. He fakes an NBA 3, decides to extend anyway and throw it up. Misses off the baseline. Ball gets saved. Whoa, it hits Ron right in the face. We got to get that on the replay. Referee just checks the Ron. Boy, that thing, I don't know how it came back on this direction, a boomerang effect or something.
I missed it.
There's no way to get out of the way of that one.
I was going to try to hit it, but instead it hit me.
Workman's comp when we get back to the station tonight, okay, Ron?
Sure.
1.1 second left in the game. Eagles up by 9, 53-44. We're getting ready to take home the third place trophy here. That will run out the clock on the inbound to Pena as Hobbs gets the win, 53-44 over Alamogordo for third place at the tournament champions here in Artesia. Eagles improve their record of 4-2, and the Tigers drop under 500 at 2-3. We'll take a 2-minute break, come back with the Hobbs Eagle post-game show live in Artesia, live on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Hobbs Eagle postgame show. Ty Friend, Ron Gunner with you. The Hobbs Eagles get the third place trophy here at the Tournament of Champions in Artesia at the pit. Final score 53-44 as they defeat Alamogordo. Hobbs running to what's this record here? 4-2. There we go. 4-2 on the season, and Alamogordo dropping to 2-3. And they just announced the all-tournament team, at least the players that were part of this game here, and that included Michael Mackey. And he had 25 in the game. And then also for Alamogordo was Kai Bickham, who had 12 to lead the Tigers. And that's pretty much where it's at. The Eagles get that third-place trophy after defeating Rio Rancho, losing to Los Lunas, who ended up being the champions of this tournament, beating Fort Sumner. And then, of course, the win here against Alamogordo. Take a look at the numbers for the Tigers. Their leader, as we mentioned, was Kai Bickham. He ended up with 12 points, but all those were free throws until the last bit of the fourth quarter. He hit 2 trays. Before that, though, he was 6 of 8 from the charity stripe, and then got the 2 trays to finish with 12 and 1 rebound. Another double-digit scorer, Davian Smith. He fouled out in the fourth quarter, but finished with 10 points. He had 2 trays in the ball game, and so he finished up with double digits as well. 7 for Jason Warren, and he went 1 of 4 from the charity stripe with 5 rebounds. 4 points for Elijah Montoya, was 0 for 1 on the line and 2 boards. DeAndre Bynum finished with 5 points. He was 3 of 5 from the charity stripe for 60%. Elijah Montoya hit a couple of buckets for 4. Dameron Smith had 2 points, 2 for 4 free throw shooting, and a bucket apiece for Zach Sell and Brett George. Sell with 3 rebounds, George with 2. Alamogordo actually got more rebounds in this game, 26-17. And their top boardman was actually a tie, Davian Smith and Jason Warren, both getting 5 in the contest. Alamogordo went 12 of 22 from the charity stripe as they finished for 54% in this one. And they ended up with 19 turnovers compared to 15 for the Eagles. They had 4 more turnovers than Hobbs did. On the Hobbs side of the coin, top scorer Michael Mackey with 25 points, 14 of 16 from the charity stripe. Big numbers for him. In fact, yeah, just complete dominant with those free throws in the second half as well. He ended up with 9 for 9 in the second half. So big-time scoring for him on the charity stripe. Mackey also got a tray in the second quarter. Second in double digits, 2 for the Eagles, Abraham Pena finishing with 15 points. He hit 2 trays in the first quarter and finished with 5 rebounds. Braylon Vega, the freshman, had a tray himself. He finished with 7 points. Devon Marquez and Omar Argot both getting 2 points apiece. And Argot finishing with 4 rebounds before fouling out in the fourth quarter. Chris Archibek was 1 of 4 from the charity stripe for 1 point and 3 rebounds. Eagles ended up with 6 players scoring, and again, 2 in double digits in Mackey and Pena. Hobbs did get 17 rebounds. Their top boardman, Abraham Pena, with 5, Omar Argot with 4, and Archibek with 3. Once again, the Eagles had 4 less turnovers than Alamogordo with 15 compared to 19, and they finished 16 of 22 for 72%. Talk about some great free throw shooting. And again, the Eagles keep moving up the last couple of games, moving over the 50% mark. They came into the contest at 55, and tonight again 72%.
They did. They played, I think, in my opinion anyway, I think they played one of their better games of the season so far, even though there wasn't a whole lot of scoring going on, but they didn't have to. They played that defense. You know, they got kind of tied up yesterday with Rio Ranchos doing it. Actually, no, it was Los Lunas that played the press on them and confused them a little bit, just enough to throw off the game and maybe even cause them to lose that game as well. But they went ahead and employed the press for most of this game, threw off Alamogordo at least enough to where they were able to get the victory. Hobbs was, and extend their victory streak to 16 games since 2005.
Yeah, definitely have been dominating Alamogordo for quite a few years, 15 years plus now with the win here. Again, they did the same thing they did last year with the win over Alamogordo 82-41 here at this same tournament. Hobbs getting 4 3-pointers in the game, as we mentioned before. Mackey got one of them to start it off, and then one for Vega, and then a couple for Abraham Pena. So definitely some good shooting there for the Eagles in this one. Final score once again, 53-44. Hobbs with that 4-2 record now as they defeat Alamogordo. Only time they'll play that team this year. But next up on the schedule for the Hobbs Eagles, they will be at home, and it's going to be a little bit of a wait as we are December 3rd. Next game is the 16th, a Friday. as they've got Oregon Mountain again from Las Cruces coming to Tasker Arena for a 7 o'clock start time. And then on Saturday, they'll hook up with Mayfield, a 3:30 start. So not a lot of turnaround between those two games, two teams out of Las Cruces. As they'll continue, that'll be our last two games before the Hobbs Holiday Tournament on the 28th through the 30th. So, again, that'll be kind of a good ready, set, go situation. They'll have, after that second home game against Mayfield, that gives them another 11 days to prepare for the Hobbs Holiday Tournament. I know that they were trying to get that Amarillo game rescheduled. It'd be kind of nice to get that either next week or after the two home games before the tournament comes up again. But, you don't want to sit out. That's a total of 13 there, and then another 11. That's 24 days of no basketball, and that's kind of a question there.
Yeah, but again, what you do instead is you focus on your practicing. You focus on those little scrimmages you do between each other and see if you can improve. Plus, you also get your all the other players that have been hurt. You try to get them healed up and ready to play as well. Because, once they get back healed again, they got to get back in the rhythm, and that means practice, practice, practice.
Yeah, Pena's out. He's been out a couple of games now. Turbiatis has been out a couple of games as well, and we're still waiting for the return of Van Landingham from last season. He got hurt during football with the collarbone injury, and he was at the game in street clothes today, but looking to see him come back in about a week or so from what I've been hearing. So that's something to be looking forward to with a lot of guys coming back. In fact, we were talking about earlier in the game, too, about the Hobbs Lady Eagles with the big injury of their point guard today with a knee injury coming up. They lost to Lubbock Cooper at home by 11.
And it's just like last year. They started off with an injury for Wisdom Anthony, and again, they're going to have to do that again. Hopefully this time around it won't be as severe because last year they lost her for the whole season as we all know it. But this time around she started off strong. She was making some really big head waves as far as her senior year. And then this happens as well. So we're hoping and praying that she is going to be able to come back, if at the very least for the holiday tournament, because that is very important for the Hobbs Eagles, as the Lady Eagles are going to be always doing well in that tournament.
In fact, I believe the game was tied when she was in there, and she went down. She had a brace on one leg, and then it hurt the other knee and had to be carried out. She was in crutches after that, and that was right before halftime. Very close game. I think Lubbock Cooper was up by 3 at the half, and then all of a sudden it went to double digits. But, again, good effort by the Lady Eagles, but at the same time, lose her is hopefully doesn't happen much longer than a week or so, but she's definitely going to have to get some recovery there. Final score once again here tonight in Artesia, 53-44. The Hobbs Eagles with the victory over Alamogordo take the third-place trophy here from the pit, and we'll head back to Tasker Arena here in about 13 days for our next game, unless they get one scheduled before that. We're crossing our fingers to get another game added for Amarillo after they canceled it. Ron Gunner, any final comments about this tournament as we get ready to prepare to leave from the pit here in Artesia?
It started off slow, but it ended up being a very good, I believe anyway, became a very good tournament for the Hobbs Eagles. Third place, not a bad finish for them, as they did finish off strong against a very good, solid, it seemed like Alamogordo Tigers team. So it's just one step at a time. We're going to have to see if we can get some more players to be off the injured list, get them back in rotation, and also get them to where they can get that rhythm going for the Hobbs Eagles. I love the defense, and maybe we'll see more of that afterwards, because they were talking about, hit and miss on the defense. But tonight, after tonight, maybe we'll see a little more press than we thought we were going to in the first of the season.
So we'll have that 13-day layoff and be back in action on the 16th at 7 o'clock at Tasker Arena, Oregon Mountain. The 17th, 3:30 against Mayfield, also at Tasker. Hope you have a great weekend and a couple of weeks before more Hobbs Eagle Hoops on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and returning to Cool 95.7 on the radio. Have a good night, everyone.